It's like nobody saw the show. Hey, Grant Cardone here, Tuesday afternoon, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's a little after 1, actually. We're in Miami, Florida today with the Cardone Zone. Every week I come to you to talk about your finances, your business, stacking your paper right, getting your paper right, finding paper. If you want to start your own business, if you want to get your business to the next level, you're in the Cardone Zone. My name's Grant Cardone. On Twitter, I'm at Grant Cardone. Going to be talking about a number of things today, but mostly about starting your own deal. I just read this article at CNBC today. 2 separate white papers from a group called the Kauffman Foundation, combined with some research they did from the census report. It was released this last week, said the state of entrepreneurs, the rate of small business creation in America has steadily declined for the past 20 years. Now, we're going to be talking about today, why is this happening? Why and does it create an opportunity that fewer and fewer people are going out on their own? Why? And does it create an opportunity for you? The number of U.S. startups, check this out. The number of U.S. startups, if you've ever had an idea about going out on your own, or maybe you're on your own now, you want to pay attention to this. You can tweet your questions at Grant Cardone to me on Twitter. Just put hashtag Cardone Zone. We're going to give $500 in products away. You guys don't know this. $500 every week. I'm going to give $500 worth of products at my store away to the person that gives me the best what is it called? The best tweet about the show and what you learned. We'll be announcing that on the Young Hustlers on Thursday, who the winner of the Cardone Zone is. Oh my gosh, stuff falling apart, man. I'm having my Blue Frog. People at Blue Frog sent me some juice. Delicious. I'll be talking more about that as well. Check it out. The number of U.S. startups, my books fell, man. Nobody's going to help me or what? The number of U.S. startups per 100,000 employees, 100,000 people. This freaked me out. This will be Robert jumping into the set here. 100,000 individuals, only 185 people out of every 100. Thank you, Big Robert. He's wearing my vest today. Only 185 people out of 100,000 became entrepreneurs 20 years ago. That number is gone down. Guess what the number is now, okay? Check it out. Out of every 100,000 people, that number has declined by 30% over the last 20 years. Not just since the Great Recession, okay? Not since the banks all froze up and quit giving people money and people collapsed and they didn't have money and they went through their savings and they got stung in a house deal. That number is down to 131 people out of every 100,000. Now, the reason the Kauffman report gave for this was that a lack of or limitation of visas for skilled workers. How bad does this piss you off? That the reason the Kauffman report says the reason people are not getting into this is because we have a limited number of visas for skilled workers. You know what that is? A slap in every American's face, saying the only way to get entrepreneurs today is to basically allow more visas for the foreigners coming into the country, which I'm all for that. But this report says basically Americans can't be entrepreneurs now. We have to import our entrepreneurship. And there's actually some facts that substantiate that I'll share with you in a second. And also, the second reason they gave was student debt levels. I'm going to tell you, okay? I think this is freaking baloney. They've asked me not to curse on my own show, so I'm going to tell you that I think this is also BS, complete baloney, BS, malarkey. I don't know who spends all this money on these reports or these white papers. Check it out. This is the reason people are not getting into business. Lisa's going to love this. Lisa runs my PR. The 2 reasons why more people don't go into business, it's going to shock you when I tell you what it is. But my reasons are as valid as these BS reasons about limited visas for skilled workers and student debt levels. Student debt levels at $1 trillion. Okay, if a guy's got the guts to go into business for himself, the amount of debt he has could prevent him. But come on, here's the reason. The two reasons I believe that people are not going out on their own is because of one thing, fear. Just fear. And number two, the psychiatric influence on society. Over the last 20 or 30 years, since I went to a treatment center, actually, about 30 years ago for drug addiction, the psychiatric influence on America in the school systems, they really like their AA programs and NA programs because the psychiatric people can get in there and infiltrate people that are already wounded and medicate them. The psychiatric influence on society today, you can see it at CNN, MSNBC, CNBC. You can see it all across the networks because like every 1 out of 3 ads is, you need a drug. And the influence is not just the medication. It's this, play it safe. It's too risky. It's a risky word. Be careful. Be careful. Don't talk to strangers. You hear that from parents everywhere, from the Dr. Seuss infiltration. And not everyone is meant to work for himself. Okay, look, if you work for anyone anywhere, just consider this. If you wake up in the morning and put your clothes on, if you're not having somebody assist you in doing that, you already work for yourself. Do you take a leak by yourself? Okay, then you work by you. Do you take a shit by yourself? Good, then you work for yourself. Do you go to the bank and actually deposit money by yourself, or do you still bring your mama and daddy? Okay, this is Grant Cardone. You're in the Cardone Zone. I'm just keeping it real with you. You're not going into business for yourself because you're freaking scared, because you haven't nutted up. You haven't balled up. You haven't cajoned up. You're freaking scared, and you're scared because, can I show my scared stuff? Dude, you're not. It's not because you're behind the 8 ball. It's because you ain't got no balls. You got to lay it down, flap it out. I know, man. I was 29 years old when I went into business. I was freaking terrified. Terrified. I was so scared. I moved from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Show me a little squirrel boy. Okay. That's what you need. You need a set of those. I don't care if you're male or female. You need them hanging to the ground if you're going to go out and work for yourself. You need to disregard all this psychiatric, play it safe, be careful, don't talk to strangers. No wonder so many startups fail. Nobody wants to go talk to anybody, man. Nobody. I want to raise the money. I want to get investors. I want to go borrow money from my friends and family, and then you don't want to go sell your products or services, okay? Look, I can show you today simply what you have to do to start your own deal. I know the excuses. I know. Look, I don't have the money. I don't know what I'm passionate about yet. I don't have the connections. I don't have a business plan. This is what people do. I mean, what are you doing to keep yourself from starting your own business? You got old ideas, could be holding you back. Marriage, maybe you're married. I wasn't married when I started my first business. You got kids. You know, you got a 4 and a 5-year-old, and you're like, man, I can't go into business for myself. I would if I didn't have the 4 and the 5-year-old. We can't move from Michigan. We got to stay in this cold weather because the kids, they like their school where, you know, a third of the kids there are already on drugs. And we're waiting for the right time. I'm waiting for the right time, and then I'm going to go into business. Or number 10, here's the 10 reasons. Fear, baby. Fear. When we come back from break, I'm going to share with you exactly what you have to do to get through your fear and start your own business.
There are 7 billion people in the world. Who are you? How are you different?
7 billion people on planet Earth. There's a small portion of them that want greatness.
Seller Be Sold, book and audio package.
You can't get away from this idea that you just have to sell more.
Voted the #1 business sales book by Axiom Gold Awards. Now, for the first time ever, in audio, read by Grant Cardone. If you want to get your way in business and in life, call 800-368-5771. Seller Be Sold, book and audio package. Call 800-368-5771 today.
The win, W-I-N, is critical to survival in life. The truth is, your money is in closing a deal.
So first and foremost, you have to understand that the close is truly for the customer. As a salesperson, your job isn't complete until your customer has taken delivery of your product or service. So if somebody comes to me and they have a need that my product can fulfill, it will be unethical for me not to insist that they do business with me today.
Closing to me is ensuring I provide a service to my client.
You don't actually provide a service to your customer until you close them.
What you need to know today about this marketplace, about your customer, is the close is everything today. How do I push through resistance? How do I push through the consumer's fear? How do I get them that close and then push them over the edge so we can truly be of service to people?
It is your duty, it's your obligation to ask people to do business with you. If you're not doing that, you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunity.
Selling is one thing, closing a transaction is something completely different.
Hey, if you want either one of those programs, you can call 800-368-5771. It's Sell or Be Sold on book and audio. I just finished recording it. It is absolutely phenomenal, and you get a pre-order price. Isn't that what we call it, pre-order price? Thanks, brother. And then the Closer Survival Guide. Look, if you're an entrepreneur, you're going to have to go out there and close your own business. You're starting your own business. You're probably not going to have a sales team. You're not going to have any ad budget. You're not going to have any marketing budget. You're going to have to go out there and knock on doors. This is why small entrepreneurs are failing. My name's Grant Cardone. You're on the Cardone Zone. At Twitter, you can tweet your question or comment at Grant Cardone. We're going to give $500 of monies that you can cash in at my store today for the entrepreneur that wraps up in one tweet. Hashtag Cardone Zone, what you got out of this show. Look, there's two separate papers that came out from the Kauffman Foundation using data from the Census Bureau that suggests that fewer and fewer people today are getting into business for themselves. This is a problem for you, okay? This is a problem. You need to consider going into business for yourself and/or, let me just say this, because I got Rob here, I got Paulie, I got some of my employees listening to this. You don't have to go to business. You don't have to go into business for yourself if you can find the right entrepreneur that's willing to let you create and grow a business with you. When I was 29 years old, the problem, I didn't want to go into business. It wasn't like I was waking up every day saying I got to go into business for myself. I had been in sales since I was 23 years old, and I already felt like I was in business for myself. I already knew my income was dependent upon me getting up every morning by myself, praying by myself, driving a car by myself. I mean, there's a lot of shit. You don't have to go into business for yourself if you just want to be working for yourself, okay? I mean, if you want to be by yourself, just stay in bed. You can be by yourself, okay? A lot of people get into business and just lay in bed, actually. The point I'm making to you is when I was 23 years old, I was working for myself. When I was 25 and I was working for a car dealer, I was working for myself. When I was 29 and I was having to go out and sell my name, I was working for myself. When I was 28 working for another guy, I was having to create income for the company for him to keep me on. I was working for myself. What's keeping you from starting out on your own? Is it money? Is it passion? Is it connections? Is it a business plan? Is it old ideas? Is it marriage? I mean, you're going to blame it on your spouse, your kids. You got kids, a 4 and a 5-year-old. Is it debt? Maybe you're debt and you're like, man, if I just didn't have this debt. Is it waiting for that perfect time, or are these just excuses? Because I think it's this. I think you're just freaking scared. And I understand, man. 29, I was freaking terrified. I was so scared. I lived in Houston, Texas at the time. And I'd been in Houston 18 months and not called on one client in a year and a half. How scared was I? I didn't know I was scared. I mean, I never confronted it until my twin brother said, dude, when are you going to call on somebody in Houston? He's like, dude, you got to handle your fear, bro. At that time, what I was doing basically was calling on businesses, and I was scared to do it. So what did I do? I researched, okay, how do you get into business for yourself? What's the things you do? Like I'm gonna take Trey here in a second. You can look at things like if you Google how to get started on your own, you're going to see things like, check it out. I did this right before the show. you're gonna hear people tell you, well, what you need to do is determine your pricing, determine how long it's going to take you to get to the marketplace, determine your differentiators, determine your marketing, or learn how to sell. I'm going to bring Trey on. Trey's calling from where? Trey, where are you calling from, brother?
Utah.
My man, how you doing today?
So good. It's great to be on this show. I love talking with you, Grant. Good stuff. You're a good man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Well, look, I Googled before the show advice. Like, I'm thinking I'm 29, 30 years old, or you're 55 years old, whatever your age, and you're like, I'm going to go into business myself. What do I need to do? This is what one site said. Determine your pricing, determine how long it will take to make your first sale, determine your differentiators, determine your marketing, and number 5, learn how to sell. Trey, why would I determine how long it would take to make my first sale if I haven't learned how to sell?
Well, for me, I was terrified like you. Like, I took a door-to-door job. That's not like what you dream about in elementary school.
Right.
But anyway, I took that job. I'm kind of a pragmatic guy, and I saw that people were successful at this. And so I figured if these guys can do it, I can do it. And I did not educate myself. I just thought I was the man and I could do it, but I was scared. And then I quickly found out that my lack of education and training was a very humbling experience. And I was last place in the company. In fact, I had 0 sales. And I had to check myself, and I started to study some things on what works for me, what's going on with the marketplace. And then I ended up being the top rookie in the company, and then was competing with numerous veterans. So just educating yourself is a huge deal, and I'm glad I stuck with it because it helped me achieve the goal of becoming a millionaire by age 27 in just a few years.
Oh, nice, man. So were you starting your own business, or were you going to work for somebody else at this time?
No, I was working with another a company, and I took the job. My brother had done it, and anyway, I did it, and then it just kind of started to. There was a snowball effect. I finally figured out, like, wow, I can make great money doing this, and. Anyway, in the meantime, as I was getting better and better at the selling, I was just thinking, man, I worked really hard for this money, and I hold my money sacred. So what I should be doing in the meantime is I should be putting a lot of arrows in my quiver of becoming financially educated. And when I make that money, what am I going to do with it next? And so I started to read a lot of books that I didn't even understand, and some of them I didn't have interest in.
Right.
But I was learning the lingo, of business. Because when I sat down, I see a lot of people that make great money, but then they end up losing it because they trust
Trey, I'm
in
gonna
a
cut you off.
friend,
Trey,
or
I'm gonna
they
cut you off
wanted
because I got to
get
go to
rich quick.
Yeah, Trey, hang on one second. I'm gonna come back to you from break. This is Grant Cardone. You're on the Cardone Zone. Stay with me. I'll be right back.
Grant Cardone saved my business.
About 6 months ago, I found Grant Cardone on YouTube, and I instantly liked what he was saying. I wanted to know how to go out and get the sale. I wanted to know when I wanted money, how to turn the faucet on and get money. I call that money on tap, and Grant Cardone taught me how to get that stuff.
Whatever it takes, do what you got to do, go get it, what you want in your business and in your life.
I need a new guru, somebody who's really up to date and modern, and that's when I found Grant Cardone, and that's when I found 10X.
Look, massive action.
What are you waiting for? You're either going to have more or you're going to have less. Make the decision, get committed, read the books, get to the seminars, take action.
If you're trying to build a massive brand, I think there's nobody better in the country than Grant Cardone.
Whatever you want, you got to commit all the way in and think in terms of domination, not a spectator. You don't want to be a spectator, folks. Spectators pay, players get paid. There's not a second, a third, a fourth, or a fifth. It's just first or nothing. Improvements in products comes from competition. But if you're the one playing the game, you want to dominate the field.
Your power base is your lifeblood. It's everyone that you know. And it starts very small. It starts in your immediate circle and branches out from there.
People underestimate this all the time. In this book, Grant tells you who your power base is, how you contact them, in what order, and exactly what you do.
Now, how do you do that in your business? Follow-up, emails, phone calls, persistence, personal visits. Dominate your buyer's thinking.
Look, so if you want to learn how to outwork the competition with effective strategies, got to get If You're Not First, You're Last. Grant covers exact strategies on what you need to do so that you can actually push, advance, and dominate your marketplace.
Hey, you're back with Grant Cardone, the Cardone Zone. My Twitter handle is, guess what? At Grant Cardone. Trey's on the phone with me. Trey, I want to ask you a question, brother. You're from Salt Lake City. Millionaire by the time you're 27 years old, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let me ask you this. How much of this, they're talking about limited visas and then student debt. How much of this you think is just fear? Just period. Fear and misinformation by society saying you can't go out on your own.
Fear it's a complex word. I mean, I see so many people that have
It's not that complex, man. Trey, it's only 4 letters, bro. Come on. Complex got to have a lot of letters and a lot of symbols.
I know. But I see so many people, I'm sure you do too, where you're like, man, you have like God-given talents.
Yeah.
And you feel like you should do it, and then you even get affirmation from family members and friends saying, what you should do this, when you already knew you should do it, but you don't do it because of X, Y, or Z. It's just going out and doing it. Like, I went and started knocking doors, for crying out loud, and I learned how to dominate in that world. And then all of a sudden, I started to get more people working with me to do it. And then I got an idea like, let's buy real estate. Hey guys, let's do this. We can make X amount of money. And then we're seeing guys buying real estate, and we're in our young 20s, and a lot of these people did have fear.
Yeah.
And then we now look back at it going, man, I'm glad we jumped in.
Yeah. Trey's telling you the truth, folks. Okay, Trey, thanks for calling in today. I appreciate it. Trey's telling you, look, man, embrace your fear and get educated. He said at least 3 different times he got educated. He had to learn. He had to educate himself. He had to read things he didn't understand. Folks, you're going to be scared if you don't know. When I don't know something, I'm scared. Okay, even if you say, I'm not scared. Yeah, you are. You don't know. When you don't know, you're not certain. And when you're not certain, you don't do things. When you're certain, your activity level goes up. I talk about this in the 10X rule. There's 4 levels of action, okay? And you have to be operating in action level 4, massive amounts of action in order to be a successful entrepreneur. It will not be the product or the service. Look at Microsoft. They don't have the best computer on the marketplace, yet they own the marketplace. You have to, and you understand what I'm saying. I mean, for years, they own that marketplace. You have to get to the marketplace fast. You have to get there with velocity, with speed, okay? It's my friend Coach Burt talks about in his book, not Jaguars, what is it? Zebras, Cheetahs and Zebras, man. Great book. He talks about, and I put a forward in his book saying, hey, man, it is the fast that eat the slow, not the big that eat the little. You got to be fast now. And if you got stuff in your head, the psychiatric influence in our society, play it safe. Don't talk to strangers. Cameras on every street corner. No one trusts anyone. Don't talk to strangers. Oh, my God, put your little child on a tether. I'm walking through an airport the other day. The lady's got her kid on a freaking 20-foot leash like it's a dog. I'm like, what are you doing? Are you so scared? People putting fences around their pools in order to keep their kids from falling in and drowning. Teach the kid to swim, man. It doesn't make any sense. Don't talk to strangers. No wonder if Trey would have been convinced not to talk to strangers, he wouldn't be a millionaire today. You got a great idea for a movie. You want to write a script. Okay, you got a great idea for a reality TV show or some great product or the next social medium, or you got the next thing. Dude, you got to call on people. You got to talk to people. You got to get hooked up with strangers. Fear, not limited census limitations into the United States of America, nor is it the debt of people getting out of college. That is not what's keeping people from going for it. What's keeping you from going for it is the same reason Las Vegas will always be there. Las Vegas will never go broke, ever, never, ever go broke, because every bet made there, except for a handful of people, every bet made there is a conservation bet. It is a bet, oh man, I hope I don't lose this. It's never a bet to say, I'm taking this freaking place down. See, if everybody went in there one night, walked into Bellagio or Wynn's Hotel and said, every bet is everything I got, you could break a hotel. But everybody would have to do that all at the same time, all at the same night, and you could take a freaking casino down. The point I'm making to you is if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to work for yourself, whatever that means to you, because it's not true, that by itself is a myth. It is impossible to work for yourself. I work for Rob and Paulie as much as they work for me. Okay, I have to be here at a certain time. I have to have meetings. I work for the bank. I have to please people. I have to work for my customers. There's no such thing as, oh, I want to work for myself. Look, man, you got to be willing to go through fear. When I was 29 years old, I didn't even know. I just knew I couldn't go back to work for the guy I left. And I wanted to control the direction of my future. I wanted to make a difference, and I couldn't make a difference where I was working. And, hey, frankly, just to be honest with everybody, in case you're listening to the Cardone Zone, dude, the reason I went to work for myself is I couldn't do anything else. I just wasn't good at anything else. I had been fired from every job I had since I was 17 years old, including McDonald's. How do you get fired from McDonald's? It's crazy. I didn't really have any clue of what I was going to do. I didn't have any plan. I didn't have any kids. I wasn't married. I had no debt. I had no house. And I had a little bit of money, and I had a lot of fear. I had fear coming out of every orifice on my body. I'm serious, okay? The biggest mistake that I was making as a startup was I wasn't going out pounding on doors. That's what I should have done right from the get-go. So when you search today after this show, when you search, hey, how do I get started, okay? How do I get started on my own? You're going to hear all this complicated, very generic, get a marketing plan, who's your market. Look, this is what you need to know. You want to get started on your own, you want to do a deal on your own, you got to grab your bowling balls, grab your billiard balls, grab your freaking cojones, grab them, grow them, and start calling on people, okay? Whatever period of time you think it's going to take to get to the marketplace, I guarantee it's going to take probably 10 times longer than you think. It took me 3 years to make money. It took me 3 years to make a positive cash flow. The amount of fear I had to confront was more than anything I'd ever experienced in my lifetime. And you need to spend all your time calling on clients. That's what you need to spend 90% of your time on, calling on clients. Either calling them by phone, calling them in person. Hey, my name's Grant Cardone. I'm 29 years old. Just started my business. I got an idea. I got to share it with you. I got to tell you about it. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, bro. Okay, you need to take out and throw out you got it? Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Take that thing out, flop it out on the table. That's right. Be fast. Be fierce. I got Rob on the phone. Rob, I got a little background on Rob. Let me read my background on Rob, get my game on. Website is technologyadvice.com. 27 years old, CEO of Technology Advice, business-to-business marketing company connecting businesses with vendors and products that best fit your technology needs. Talk to me, brother Rob.
Grant, great to speak to you today.
Man, appreciate you being on the show.
I like to watch Grant rants with my team in the office during our team meetings sometimes.
Oh, that's great. What do you do, Rob?
So we do marketing for technology companies, but done a lot of different businesses over the years. Done door-to-door sales.
Wow, like Trey.
Designed websites, all kinds of stuff.
So let me ask you, what do you think, Rob? I'm talking about Do you think that the deal is that we're not letting foreigners into our country, enough of them to become entrepreneurs, and that's why more people don't go into business for themselves, or that it's student debt? Or do you think it's more in this neighborhood of just the whole, dude, you got to confront your fear?
Yeah, I think it's confronting fear, and I think it's also the big theme for me is delayed gratification. So you got a lot of folks, like I employ a lot of what I call intrapreneurs, where they're entrepreneurs within the organization, and they've got great business ideas. And several of them have talked about starting businesses, at some point in the past. But for a lot of folks, not just the folks here on my team, but anywhere in the world, having that cushion to being able to kind of jump off that cliff and knowing that you've got something to support you on the way down while you're trying to build the business. And I think the thing that a lot of Americans especially struggle with is delayed gratification, not being able to save up that cash cushion, I guess you could call it, to being able to take that risk.
Right. I want to buy stuff. I got to buy stuff. I need stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to have things. I got to have little gadgets and cars and houses and
it's an amazing thing what you can do if you just let some of that stuff wait.
Yeah, dude. And I'm gonna tell you, that's what got me the opportunity when I was 29 years old. When I went out on my own, I had a little bit of dough because I had been driving. I wasn't driving the big cars with the big wheels on them. I wasn't driving loaded up, vehicles. I didn't have a lot of toys, and I wasn't doing a lot of vacation. I was delaying the gratification you're talking about. Also, these entrepreneurs. What do you call them?
Intrapreneurs,
yeah.
Like inter-organizational entrepreneurs, so within the organization.
Yeah, the part of this article, Millennials, it says, are certainly different from the hardworking prior generations. Listen to the slander on my Jared Glant Millennials. It says, Millennials are certainly different from the hardworking prior generations for whom loyalty to a company and careful saving was seen as a route to success. It says 70% of millennials surveyed said they wanted to start their own business. Okay, hey, millennials, wanting to start your own business is not the same as starting your own business, okay? It's like wanting to get laid ends up you going to a porn site tonight. So you got to deal with the fear, man. At the end of the day, no matter how much of an education you get, no matter how much money you have, and I know Rob will tell you this, no matter how much dough you have, you're still going to wake up in the morning and say, if I'm going to go to the next level, I got to confront fear.
That's right. How
do you do that?
I think it's you don't think about it. You just get out there and take action. If you stop and think about it, it's like it's too late. You already thought too much about it. So and I know you guys like to talk about millennials a lot. I'm a millennial. I employ about 90% of my employees are millennials, so it's something we like to talk about a lot too. And it definitely is a different generation. I think, a lot of people like to say the millennials are the lazy generation or the generation of entitlement. But, I think to some extent that's true, but I think everybody's a product of their environment, and it doesn't have to be that way. I think there were people that had the same problems with previous generations just like we do.
Yeah, I think every generation, the earlier generation talks about how this new generation is lazy. My father was probably told by his grandfathers that he needed to be a farmer, that if he wasn't, out there actually growing his own vegetables, he was probably a lazy guy. Hey, Rob, I appreciate you calling in. His website is technologyadvice.com. His advice that he's given to you as an entrepreneur today, this is what I heard from him. Move fast. Move as fast as you possibly can. Rob, thanks a lot for calling in. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Grant.
What he's telling you is this, and I think this is the greatest piece of advice we got in this show today is, look, move fast. You're going to have fear, folks. You're going to have fear. These are the 5 steps that I would suggest to you that you use when you're going out to start up your company. Different than the generic advice that you might get anywhere on the internet. I want to suggest to you that you identify what your market is. Number 1, identify what your market is. What is your market? My first business, my market happened to be training companies to sell. Okay, that was my market. I'm like, who's my market? Well, my market is any company that has a sales team. So the first thing I would do is identify who is my market. Number 2, pound the market. I do not need to do a business plan at this point. You could do a business plan. I just worked with a company on a business plan. We can spend $800 on a business plan. I spend $8,000 on a business plan. But you know what? As soon as you go to the bank's going to say, that's great, you got a business plan. How many customers do you have, man? This is what I would tell you to do, okay? Number one, identify who's your market. Exactly. Who would buy a product like Blue Frog sent me this. Blue Frog sent me this beautiful drink. Well, they identified me as their market. Then they got their product into my hands. Number two, pound the market. How do I pound the market? Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, phone calls, mail. Yes, mail, where I actually write on something, a sheet of paper, and I actually use ink on a piece of paper. Not everything can be a tweet or a post or a picture or an Instagram, right? You got to pound, dude. And the other thing is I got to pick up a phone every once in a while and call somebody. Hey, Rick, Grant Cardone, I'm raising money. I want to go from 3,000 units to 10,000 units. You know anybody want to invest in it? You got to make that phone call and/or look, don't forget going to visit people, man. I got to get in somebody's face, man. If you're not getting in somebody's face every day, in every way, if you're not willing to go call on somebody, how sold are you on your product? Pound the market. Number three, sell your offer. What is your offer? What is it? How much is it? How much of it do you want me to buy? Where's the money going to come from? Sell the offer. Do you know how to sell? And number four, reinvest that revenue. I'm going to get money. I'm going to have expenses. Anything left over, I'm going to reinvest that revenue in my growth. That's when I go hire a receptionist. That's when I start buying furniture. That's when I get a studio. You don't go get furniture first. You know how many startups have furniture and they bust out? And they got pretty windows and they got pretty doors and pretty furniture, and nobody ever sees your office, man. What are you doing? You can't do it like that. You're going to bust out. That's why I can buy all your furniture for nothing, because you didn't learn how to pound the market, sell your offer, and reinvest the revenue. Trey talked about that. Trey talked about delaying gratification. I didn't have furniture. I used basically an executive suite in the beginning. The group Regis. Is it Regis? Yes, Regis. Regis office, okay? That's a way for me to keep my overhead low. Didn't have to have a secretary, didn't have to have a phone system, and basically have an executive office at a location. In any city that I went to, I could basically have a storefront. Check it out, Regis US. Regis US. On Twitter is Regis US. Great for entrepreneurs to keep your capital investments low and get you to focus on who's my market, pound them, beat them to death, dude. It's the same thing. Same thing with getting a woman or getting a guy or getting a boat or getting a car. Who's my market? What car do I want to buy? Okay, pound the market for the best deal. Sell the offer to them. Hey, you want to sell me a car? You guys at the Panamera, you guys at Porsche, y'all should give me a car. Okay, like the people at Blue Frog, they sent me some juice. So you know what I'm going to do? They took the time to send me some juice, so I'm going to sell them some juice right now. See, they pound the market. Who's the market? Get the can of juice in front of me and cross your fingers and hope that Granty Boy is going to say something on the Cardone Zone. Blue Frog, bluefrogenergy.com. Thank you for sending me this can of juice. Okay, thanks for believing in yourself. Thanks for being an entrepreneur. Thanks for getting out there and mixing it up in the economy. Allows extra oomph in today's fast-paced environment. Now, this is Mr. Fast-Paced at Grant Cardone on Twitter telling you, get yourself some damn Blue Frog, baby. Blue Frog combines potent fucodons. I have no freaking clue what a fucodon is. If anybody knows what FUCOIDAN is it fucodon? Is it fucodon? What is it? It's FUCOIDAN, okay, with a host of naturally powerful packed fruits, vegetables, herbs, and minerals, providing enhanced performance, and increased endurance focused on concentration. Look, I hear people freaking. I hear my office freaking. Is that Lisa? Okay, folks, what am I telling you? Man, look, fewer and fewer people are becoming entrepreneurs. What does that mean? Become an entrepreneur. Go work for yourself. Even if you work for a company like Nick from Austin, I bet you Nick works for somebody else. Nick, you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Dude, do you work for yourself or do you work for somebody else?
Work for myself.
Ain't no such thing, player.
You know it.
there is no such thing as working for yourself. I need everybody to understand this, okay? It is impossible to work for yourself. The President of the United States of America does not work for himself. He works for who? His voters, his supporters, and the people that gave him all the dough. But Nick, what you're calling from Austin? What are you calling about, brother?
I'm calling about need some schooling on perseverance.
Good, man. What's your business?
I do TimeRevise.com. We're an internet productivity app.
I missed it. What is it again?
TimeRevise.com.
TimeRevise.com.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And so you're getting hit with some rejection.
Not necessarily with that, just in life about perseverance. You know, I hear you talk about how you chased your wife back in the day.
Yeah.
You persisted, and you eventually got her.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm at right now.
Yeah, dude, look, you got to decide. I mean, what are you chasing that you're not getting?
A woman.
Oh, some tail.
Yes, sir.
Dude, you need to get some blue frog.
Some blue frog?
You need to get some blue frog, player, okay? Look,
right.
First of all, okay, are you being nice to the woman?
Yeah.
Quit being nice to her, man.
Okay.
Quit being nice to her. You need to go tell her, hey, okay, this is for real. I'm not going away. Okay? I'm not going away. It's going to happen today. It's going to happen tonight. It's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to happen next year. You know for sure she's the one?
Yeah.
Dude, you just need to tell her, hey, look, I'm not going away. It's just not going to happen. Okay? I'll be your cousin. I'll be your brother. I'm not going away. It's just not going to happen. And so now you got to get really creative. You got to get really, really creative now about how you're going to stay in touch with her so she doesn't feel like, dude, you're a creep. You're freaking me out. You got to get away from me, because that could freak her a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things I did, man, you got to mute your phone there. One of the things I did, bro, is I actually started dating my wife's friends, her best friends. I started sleeping around with her best friends because it made Elena feel comfortable.
Okay.
Because then Elena would check with Erica. Erica, hey, mute your phone, dude. Elena would check with Erica and say, what's going on? Oh yeah, we've been dating. And you know women talk like, they're like, is he any good? What's it like? Tell me about it, right? And so once she felt comfortable enough, then me and Erica didn't work out. And not everything does, right? Well, then I was able to like get in those circles. I'm just saying, look, if you're committed to what you want to do as an entrepreneur or the girl you want, to me, they're not any different. Find a target. This is what I gave you. Find your market, pound it, beat it to death, okay? Oh, yeah. Beat it to death. I'm telling you, beat it, hammer it. But you got to do that from a number of different directions, not always with a hammer. It's got to be very creative. Be available. Be in the space. Be creative. And then how do you sell your proposition? Why you? Why are you the company? Why are you the product? Why are you the service? Why are you the guy? Hey, thanks for calling in, Nick. Persevere, man. Persevere, folks. Okay, you want your goals and your dreams? It's worth fighting for them. My name's Grant Cardone. You're on the Cardone Zone. Every Tuesday at 1 p.m. we do this show. We're going to give $500 away. And I'll be announcing who we gave that to when we look at all our tweets here before the day's over. We'll share that on Thursday on Young Hustlers with my main man, Jared Glant. Thanks for joining today. I hope you got the tips. Be great. Be great. Nothing else pays. It might be time to go out on your own. Gen Y, Gen X, Millennials, Generation Me, Generation Internet. You know who you are. You've been crushed, hit hard by this economy.
So if you're dealing with college debt, maybe you're even trying to move out of your parents' house or start a new business. Look, the only way you're going to be able to do that is to be able to produce and to get people to pay you what you're worth.
I'm fighting for your generation. I'm not counting you out. I believe in you. We're here to give young hustlers the advice and tools they need to succeed in the 21st century. Every Thursday, 1 p.m., Young Hustlers, be there.